Greetings, Internet. Didier here, and welcome to the conclusion of the Light Side, Dark Side Championship. First, I would like to thank Anthony for joining us. Anthony is fresh off of the Light Side team, so we both were there today participating. How do you feeling? How you feeling about these matches that we got here?
I played some good games today, and my team played some really good games today, so I'm excited.
Yep, to start out here, we actually have Anthony versus on the light side facing off against the dark side team member Bill on Mando Double Yellow. Of course, Anthony's using his Yoda red that he has been running through our local scene right now. Just real quick, talk about this Yoda red deck that you got going on here.
Yeah, I tried to make Yoda green work earlier in the set, and eventually dropped in, picked Yoda back up with red, and it's kind of similar to Rey Red or Anakin Blue, except I think it plays a little bit more control-y, but also has some combos with You're My Only Hope, especially. So you'll see some interesting swing plays, I think.
Yep, and I really enjoy this Yoda red deck. I think it's a great build. Of course, Bill is on my recently, actually, this is my actual deck. We did a funny thing at the beginning of the match where I walked over and I granted Bill the Power of the Dark Side, which was my deck in front of Anthony.
It threw me off so bad. Bill plays this Yoda blue deck, and him and I had played earlier in the week or last week, and I had been feeling good about that matchup. And then when Didier dropped the Mando deck, I became very unsure about how this was going to go.
It was so great. But of course, so just to explain the rules of the light side, dark side. So at the beginning of the series of tournaments, if you have been following us, the light side and dark side championships that we've had going on, we've all picked a side, light side, dark side. And then there was a series of tournaments between the stores, the local game stores that were really close to each other, Portal Comics and Jaff Comics as well. So we all picked a side, we all played in those tournaments, and the champions that stood on both sides were myself and Matt. So right now, we have the teams facing off that Matt and I chose to help us gain special powers in the championship match. So this is actually one of the precursor matches to the championship that is attempting to grant either the light side or dark side champion special powers called boons. Yep, so we of course are seeing kind of classic play here from both sides, both yellow and red, starting out with Sabine and starting out with an R2-D2 discard, and then Bill dropping down Bodhi Rook. Surely that Bodhi Rook will get something here.
Yeah, it's hard to see from the camera, but there's 2 takedowns and 2 units in my hand, so he didn't really have many options here. But, losing a takedown is never a good thing.
Yeah, and of course, one of the other things that's good about Bodhi Rook in this matchup, or discard in general against the control deck, is that it presents a threat on the board, as we saw there. You took it out with your Sabine, and then also it takes a card away. So against the control decks, or decks that go late, because you tell me all the time this Yoda red deck is not a control deck, decks that go late, taking the card away from them is important when it comes to resourcing.
Yeah, so you'll see I drew You're My Only Hope off the Yoda power here, and I actually ended up using that to play K2 a turn early. I don't think I would do that normally. I usually try to combo it either for a 5 or 7 cost unit, but Mando Yellow, I'm familiar with this deck, and you want to make sure that you don't fall behind on the board because it can get a little nasty.
Yeah, the Mando deck pushing in tons of damage, of course, and the winner of this match, these are set up to be 3 rounds of best of 1 matches. The winner of the respective side, either light side or dark side, gets to choose a boon from a pool of boons to grant their champion a special power in the championship match. So, of course, this is round 1 of the best of 1s. So here, this special power, this boon, will be assigned to match 1 of the championship. So whoever wins this is it's a big deal for the championship, granting that special ability. So we're going to see on top here, played by Bill, preventing any attacks or ambushing, and then tapping down the K2SO with the Mando ability.
Yeah, I think he had been expecting me to take down this unit. He wanted me to, or maybe to trade into, I forget what the upgrade does, but whichever one he wanted me to do, I decided to play the Village Protectors so that it kind of just threw the plan off. But there's also a second reason, which is that it's a good play to set up Yoda power, because it takes a little while to get through, so it can kind of delay a unit dying, which is something that can be kind of tricky with Yoda.
Yeah, Bill actually deciding to claim initiative there with the village, with not attacking into the Village Protector. Difficult choice there, to be honest with you, whether or not to take the shield off the Village Protector. I guess Bill's thinking there was, of course, you have K2, so if he would attack into the shield, you would probably get initiative, and then you would be able to attack the K2 into the R2-D2 then. But gonna see the cunning here, potentially bouncing the K2, which would be a very strong play, I would say. Bouncing K2 with cunning is the absolute best play I love doing with cunning. It's pretty much a snap decision for me, but we're actually going to see the random discard here. Random discard for the Obi-Wan.
I wasn't really too sad that the Obi-Wan was gone.
And the bounce on the village. See, I know that bouncing K2 it really slows down the red decks. Because, like, what do? Just play K2 again? It's such a slow play, especially off curve. You would spend a lot to play that K2 there with You're My Only Hope. It's basically a 2-card K2 there, yeah, and it evenly trades here with the R2 there. He's getting the Greedo down, though. Yep.
Yeah, there's a card in my hand. It's Ketsu that's really good against these kind of decks because of the upgrade discarding, and I believe that's part of why I dumped the Kanan there, is I wanted to drop the Village Protectors with the Ketsu.
Yeah, this is a really big play here, and we're kind of seeing why Bill should have bounced the K2 there instead of the Village Protector. Kind of also showing...
Oh, man. I drew an iconic combo.
What, Yoda Force Throw?
And Force Throw, yeah.
Yeah, that is an iconic combo. Yeah, just showing again how, Bill should have probably bounced the K2 there, because the R2 would have answered the Village Protector, and then you either replay the K2, or you get what? You have really off-curve choices there. I guess you take down there then.
Yeah. So, this game's nearing the flip for both leaders. When basically the stakes here is that as we're there's 4 of us on each team playing against each other for those boons, and we knew at this point what they were. It's things like exhausting a unit, or drawing a card, or deploying your leader 1 turn early, which are all hugely powerful. So, we were trying to make sure we got those secured for the finals match that Didier and Matt play later on.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, interesting. It's unfortunate that Bill missed the shoot there on Greedo. That could have been a really good 2 damage there, being able to take out either unit there, either the Ketsu or the Village Protector. But we're going to see the deploy here on Mando. We're going to have to see what Bill spends his 6 resources on. Anthony giving us the... Almost as if he played this game earlier today, giving us the premonition of the Yoda Force Throw. We're seeing the Yoda come down. Mando's Rifle is a card that is growing on me slower. It's slowly becoming one of my favorite cards because it's just an incredibly powerful card. able to just swing boards easy with Mando. But we are going to see that force throw.
This is brutal. I think capturing Yoda there was the call that needed to be made, rather than capturing the village protectors.
Yeah. Yeah, of course, hindsight is 2020. It was difficult to think about the force throw at that time, but of course, having red force deck, having a force user on the field, and the opponent not drawing a card when you capture Yoda is, of course, a great advantage as well.
It's a really heads-up play that Bill does here.
Yeah, so we are seeing him stare at that DJ. Of course, this would be the Yoda flip turn. Bringing out that DJ could mean that he would delay the flip. Lots of smuggle cards in Bill's resource line right now. 2 hotshot blasters, L3, Tech, and DJ. He has all the choices in the world from his resource line right now. But we are going to see the DJ for 7, actually, to take the resource. Now, of course, you can take out the DJ, but you are going to have to trade. Oh, wait.
Yeah. He's like, how are you doing that? And I was like, oh, yeah, you're right. How am I doing that? Yeah, that was brutal.
Yeah, it definitely is a really good card for late game decks. The DJ, really, really strong to prevent that flip. Of course, just kind of forcing you to trade your units into this. Doing what I'd like to call the swibbity swap, where he is swapping his resource with your ready resource, and then of course taking out the DJ with the Yoda there.
Yeah, I don't think he ever replaced the DJ when he smuggled it out. I don't know why I discarded this here. We even joked about that.
Yeah, looking like you have a lot of control here, pushing in lots of damage. Wow, and the Cassian here. Lots of damage coming in. Yeah, it doesn't look like Bill replaced the DJ there off the top. So it looks like this game is coming to an unfortunate close with you having a menacing board and Bill dropping down this Kira. So we can probably talk about this time going into the championship match. Of course, the championship match being held against myself. No one knows what deck I'm going to be bringing to this championship match. And then seeing the conclusion here of this first best of 1 matches. Trying to get the champion special powers. Unfortunately, the light side dominated the dark side in the best of 1 matches and went 4-0, giving the light side champion Maddie 4 boons and myself 0 going in the championship match. Just seeing a flood here from Anthony. Yoda, Luke Skywalker, all the good stuff is coming down. The ultimate base damage on the Mandalorian. And that is it for the best of 1 matches. We were only able to record 1 because of how the tournament was structured. But let's go into this championship match. All right, going into this championship match between these 2 players, the light side and dark side champions, myself and Maddie, representing decks 1 expected, 1 not so expected. No one expects the Padme Yellow.
So if you look on the top of the right playmat, you can see some of the boons that we were able to secure for Matt in round 1. And we weren't sure what Didier was going to be playing for this event. We had a group chat where we planned things out, and all of us were very surprised when Matt yelled out, "He's got Padme." So we'll see how this goes.
Yep, I've been working on Padme for a while. Really long time. I started with double green, and then I went to red, and now I'm on yellow. And I think yellow is definitely the best iteration of this deck. Very strong. I noticed its ability to be really good against aggro decks. While I was playing early versions of the deck and I was seeing some of the yellow units that it had access to. So I just thought, all right, well, I know Matty is definitely bringing Sabine, whether it be green. I thought he might mix it up and play yellow a bunch and then switch to green, which honestly I think would have been really good. Like, if he's green in this matchup, I am much more scared. I think Padme does have an ability to control the field really well. But if he's ambushing units, then that's what I was most afraid of, if I'm being honest. Him switching to green. But going into this match, Maddie has all of the boons, and I have none, because unfortunately my team got sweeped. And one of those boons is, of course, as we saw, deploy your leader 1 turn early. So we are definitely going to be seeing that. Sabine comes out on 4. We are going to be seeing Sabine come out a turn earlier in this match. Now, what was I going to say? Oh, the boons are actually in action. So you will see us actually grab the boon token and kind of raise it up for the camera when we're using the boon. So hopefully we can see what power is being activated when, and we can talk about it. So
yeah, and out of the boons you each have, you can only use 2 per game. So there's a bit of strategy involved in what you actually decide to play.
Yeah, and thank you for the powers that be that created this like fun little tournament for us, Light Side, Dark Side. And thank you also to those that created the tournament that limited the number of boons available. Like, even though that you won all 4 matches, you only have 2 boons that you can use in this match. So thank you for that. It's probably, it's like, as a balancing thing, I'm thanking the stars that I'm not having to face 4 boons in this matchup.
Yeah, and for us on the choosing side, which boons to pick was a very tricky thing to land on. Like, there was one that we absolutely knew we wanted to take, which was to play Sabine a turn earlier. But beyond that, there was a lot of tricky choices involved.
Yep. So I'm going to start out with Padme, and Matt has started with the A-Wing, the classic red aggro opener. Of course, Padme unit slowly becoming a favorite of mine, as well as it looks like I actually drew into a Bounty Hunter Quarry and a Spare the Target as well. Looks like Matt has a Fleet Lieutenant in his hand. We might be seeing that 5 damage come down. We'll have to see what happens.
I feel like he's definitely going to play a Fleet Lieutenant. I've seen him play that so many times.
So, of course,
every Sabine player.
Of course, this being the Light Side Dark Side Championship, this is the Sabine flip turn when you're booned up. So I'm sure this is turn 2 leader deploy is something special, let me tell you.
It adds a lot of hijinks to the game, which is, for a semi-competitive, semi-casual event, pretty interesting, you know?
Yeah, of course, Matt and I also sporting both of our Light Side, Dark Side mats that we won in our respective tournaments. I actually was the winner of the Light Side tournament, despite me representing the Dark Side, and then Matt was the winner of the Dark Side tournament. So dropping down Admiral Yularen here, just trying to save my units and establish coordinate on the board. I know that I have Padme unit, so I can play the control game with that Yularen as long as my units stick around.
Oh, here it is.
Leader, there's the action. The leader costs +1. Of course, Matt went to flip here, and I politely informed him that he used the action to make his leader cost -1. Not that it mattered, because I was going to, of course, then just claim, which I did there. But, hey, rules are rules.
Man, seeing a Sabine this fast is jarring.
Yeah, so, of course, he could have Fleet Lieutenanted into Padme there, but Yularen is preventing that. So he is actually going to surprise strike somewhere. Where is he going? He's actually going to go into Yularen.
I bet that had to be a tough choice.
Go into Yularen there. So, of course, Matt has... This is actually the second time that Matt has played this matchup. And the first time we played in the best 2 out of 3, he didn't kill my units, and he heavily regretted it. And then he spent the rest of the time playing control, and he actually won that match. So I'm currently actually 0-1 against Maddie Sabine in competitive play. Bringing it to this match was a little scary for me because he had a 100% win ratio against me.
I don't think Matt used the R2-D2 when played ability. It looked like he put it down and immediately drew his 2 cards for the end of the regroup phase.
Oh yeah, unfortunate there. Missed that trigger. But yeah, Padme alone, seeming long away, just so far away from Padme flip. Like, we are still having another turn until Padme is going to get on the field. A full 2 turns here with Sabine is rough. We are going to see the 501st Liberator drop to heal 3. Not terrible.
It's a very strong card in any Green Republic deck, which I guess is basically Padme.
Yeah, or Rex.
Yeah.
And we're going to see the R2 attack. He did remember the trigger that time. Of course, Matt on 4 resource might be dropping that K2 that he has in his hand. But we are going to see me spend my 1 resource here to put a Bounty Hunter Quarry on the unique R2. The unique R2-D2. So Sabine, coming out of turn early, just kind of hanging out, She took out a Yularen already. She's just kind of hanging out and doing damage, doing Sabine stuff over here. Sending Sabine into base. Makes sense because he can't take out a unit. I think Maddie would love to take out one of my units, but he doesn't have that option right now. He's just going to drop down the K2. And then we're going to go to the next round. So kind of a menacing board here on Matt's side. The K2, the A-Wing has been just doing consistent damage. Myself only have 2 units. This is the Padme flip turn. So we'll have to see what comes out here.
How much do you prioritize using Padme's leader ability before she flips? I'm guessing not much.
It really depends on both the matchup and the curve of cards that I have in my hand. But we are going to see the Leia here to tap down the K2, of course. I do have that spare the target in my hand, I think. Just trying to save damage here from the K2 attack with the Leia. It also turns on coordinate, so Padme is online right now. So it's actually kind of a double play here, both turning on coordinate and tapping down the K2 to slow damage.
Yeah, I have a feeling that he would have liked... he's thinking about playing that surprise strike, and I have a feeling he's trying to save it to kill Padme, and maybe that's what he's thinking about here.
Yeah, of course. He would much prefer that K2 to be untapped right now. I think that Leia kind of went a long way to kind of shift this board, especially with that Padme unit. That Padme unit is now being online, and Padme actually has 3 great targets, 2 great targets to be specific. So even if Matt would swing with either the A-Wing or Sabine leader, the other one is probably going to get Padme united. The Leia response to tap down the 501st Liberator, saving Sabine. Worried about the Sabine kill. The 501st, of course, with Sabine with 2 damage, 501st could just take out Sabine there.
Now, for the uninitiated, what is the coordinate ability of the Padme unit?
So, of course, here, using the coordinate ability on the Padme unit on Sabine, which gives the Sabine leader -3 power for the remainder of the phase. So we could see there that the Padme unit on attack ability with coordinate went off first. Then the Padme unit attacked the Sabine leader and did not take damage back because of the -3 power. Yeah, of course, Padme Amidala, the strength of the -3, ability to go cross arena, ability to play control or play aggressive. You can see here I'm using it to control because I'm using it on the unit I'm attacking. Seeing the surprise strike here for R2 into base for 4 damage, getting me up to 13. Just getting that damage in with the surprise strike. Knowing that Sabine's death has been secured with the Padme flip here. Clear the Field is coming out on the A-Wing, dropping and sending it back to hand to save even more damage here. Yep, getting that 1 damage ping from the Sabine attack and then using Padme ability. Just because it's got that extra resource, so we're going to get that favorable delegate into hand. Matt, knowing that it's the time, now is the time, flooding the board there with the Spec Force soldier, trying to push in as much as he can. We're going to see the defeat here on the Sabine leader, and of course Padme not taking back damage because of that the Padme unit, the yellow one, ability earlier.
Yeah, and here's where the Padme leader grind begins. Drawing cards, healing. It all fuels itself, and it's a pretty hard thing to overcome.
Yeah, of course, that K2 is still standing there in the ground arena, but I'm going to grab In Defense of Camino as my card draw. Of course, In Defense of Camino being a Republic card, I'm able to tutor it into my hand with Padme.
I don't even know what that card does, honestly.
In Defense of Camino, that all of your Republic units for the remainder of the phase gain on attack, restore 2, and when defeated, create a clone trooper token.
Seems like it'd be very good in a Padme Republic deck.
Especially in this matchup when restore is very, very significant. I do have only 3 Republic units out right now, but we'll have to see when I decide to activate that In Defense of Camino to get the most value out of it. Matt still does have a very menacing board here with that K2, the 2 2/2s, and that R2 still has that Bounty Hunter Quarry on it, though. Of course, Padme unit, the yellow unit, is probably the most scary thing on my side of the board right now for Matt. He probably wants to take out that Padme unit, I would say, meaning the yellow one. So, because it's going to be able to let me play a control game. Yeah, so K2 here may be the answer that he needs. I'm actually going to go into the 501st Liberator here. Take out the most damaging unit that I have. All right, we have ourselves a game here. Wonder what we're going to see come out.
It's interesting to kill the 3/3 over the Padme.
Yeah, so of course, me getting off the Padme ability here. Always like to get off my coordinate abilities as fast as I can. I know he's not going to be able to kill. Actually, I think here I'm actually begging the trade here. I actually want this trade. So that's why I did that in that order. Because I was, to be honest, I was hoping he did that trade there between the Leias. Which he does. To reduce damage and take off coordinate. But of course, we did see that Republic Tactical Officer go into my hand one of the best cards to play, gain the abilities of Coordinate, and then simultaneously attack with my Padme unit. Going into base here for 3 damage and making that R2 have -3 attack. So even if he would play like a Hotshot Blaster on it, a Surprise Strike, any of that would be partially negated by that -3 attack. But it looks like Matt does have a Falcon and an A-Wing in his hand. That A-Wing that I had bounced from earlier.
He also has a Cassian in his resources.
Okay. Getting that R2, the R2 scry there. Not looking great for Matt as the game goes on and on. The Padme deck does slowly gain control of the field. So we're actually going to put a Bounty Hunter Quarry on K2. 3 resources up is suspicious on my side of things. But we're going to see the Sabine ping to take 1 damage on both sides. Matt's surely going to be dropping down that Millennium Falcon this turn, but we are actually going to see the spare the target to send the K2 back to hand and claim my bounty of 10 cards. 10 cards searching for a 3 cost or less. Of course, you do see another 501st Liberator there that I could drop down and get the 3 heal and put the 3 power on the board. We also do have that Yularen as well. Looks like I'm thinking about the Yularen. Of course, Yularen, mostly good to protect Padme unit. Well, actually, really both Padmes. Protect both Padmes there. That's why I would probably prefer, yep, gonna get the Yularen here. Again, protect both Padmes. Really good here.
Yeah, I mean, buffing your units, getting better trades, getting restore, like, you're setting up the beginnings of a lockout scenario for a Sabine deck.
Yep, and of course that R2 does still have that other Bounty Hunter Quarry on it, which is just kind of looming in the background and waiting to be taken. A 3 damage here, and the push in from Sabine. Not out of it yet, getting me up to 17. Never count Sabine out. He does have that 4 cause in his hand as well as another Falcon, so he can actually resource the K2 and do a 4 cause Falcon play where he pushes in what? 6, potentially, what, 13 damage? 6, 10, yeah, 13 damage. With the R2, 14. So, pretty strong play here, but he's going to actually opt to resource the Falcon. But we are going to see the indefensive Camino here. Now that there are 4 Republic units, the indefensive Camino is going to ensure that a ton of healing is going to come out this turn. R2 standing alone in the ground arena against a bunch of Padmes and Admirals.
That's the most Star Wars thing I've ever seen.
The tactics of Padme are shown here with the tactical officer standing with Padme. We are going to attack the R2 unit and -3 the Millennium Falcon here.
Oh man. 2 restore, effectively 3 more restore by weakening the Falcon. Like, that's brutal for an aggro deck to deal with.
Yep, attacking Yularen into the R2 here again, and restoring 3 with Yularen's base 1 restore there. Matt dropping down the K2SO, trying to push in damage as best he can, but here comes Tactical Officer to finish off the R2, restore 2 again, and then claim that bounty.
This turn right here is making the case for Wolf being something to play.
In the main deck, of course, this is game 1, so we know Matt does have Wolf in his sideboard. Yep, this is game 1, so I'm sure he is going to bring in Wolf for games 2 and 3 after this game. So lots of good choices here. We have the Republic capture ship that could take either the Falcon or the Green Squadron A-Wing here. As well as we have a Leia. I actually have, if I remember, I have a Kira in my hand right now. So I was really thinking about dropping Leia, untap, and play the Kira. That was something that I was thinking about for a really long time to do. But I think
Did Matt ever play a second boon this game?
No, he did not. He had the exhaust one. He had chosen the exhaust, a unit one.
Gotcha.
Yep, so seeing the choice here of the Republic Arc 170 coming down, of course, to threaten to take out the A-Wing.
Do you know what the total you've healed so far is?
Well, Padme has attacked. This is about to be... So this is the 6... No, this is the 7 turn. So Padme has attacked. This will be the 4th time. Yularen attacked once. And then this Indefensive Camino was 8. So what is that? 13 at this point? So yeah, showing the power of Republic healing. Alright, going into this finals match here. Lots of healing coming out from the Republic deck. Indefensive Camino, just huge there. Getting the tutoring the Republic Arc 170 to hand and then just playing it down. An army of Republic Arc 170s. This is not looking good for Matt here. Only having 3 units. Myself having 6 units. After having healed 10 damage on the last turn alone.
Yeah, the situation here, if this was a Sabine ECL deck, like you might be able to get some comeback plays with an ECL turn, but in yellow, you're mostly reliant on your burst damage, and we've seen some surprise strikes used earlier in the game, so this is definitely a tough spot to be in.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying in the beginning. Like, I was really worried about him switching to green on me. That was one of the thing. I felt really comfortable bringing Padme into yellow, but green would be a little shaky, I think.
Yeah, he finally killed the Padme, and, I mean, good, but I feel like if he had killed that Padme the very first time he could have, this game goes very differently.
Yeah, and Matt knows that. Matt knows how powerful, because like I said, we played this matchup before, and he noticed how powerful the Padme unit was. The Padme unit has blown my expectations away. I had no idea. I threw three of her in originally in this list and played Echo and planned on discarding her to just discard her to buff Padme to give Padme to experience the leader. That was what originally I was doing with this deck. And then it was at some point I was playing the Padme unit down, and I just realized, wait, this is my best turn 1 play in this deck. It's crazy. But yeah, seeing the space come down on Matt's side, trying to reestablish here, but the damage is now coming in. The damage and the healing is now coming in. The chip away, as we call it. The chip away is happening. The card draw from Padme, getting that R2 in hand. Matt taking out the Republic Arc with the Millennium Falcon there. With the red 3 damage. Myself, still having no resource usage over there. This 4 cause is actually only going to do 2 damage.
Oh, that is rough.
Only 2 damage. Keeping the surprise strike. He should discard those cards, but shuffling them and putting them to the bottom. Padme's got you mixed up all sorts right now. Throwing down the
Man.
R2, getting, of course, the favorable delegate. Whether favorable delegate or R2 is better is actually a choice for me. Situationally, one is better than the other. Here, I think I am actually... What am I getting? I'm getting a late game event. It's a non-Republic card. I can't... Oh, it's a Bright Hope. That's what it is. I grab a Bright Hope.
You know, I've never really wanted to play Favorable Delegate, but I do like playing R2, and you're saying that makes me realize that they are pretty much the same card, kind of.
They're very similar, because favorable delegate, like, there are some situations where you can't discard a card or you don't want to discard a card, and it makes favorable delegate better in some situations, for sure. But seeing the Plo Koon here to take out the R2, Matt asked me how many cards I had in my hand. I had 4 cards in my hand, or 3 cards in my hand. I think 3. So he opted to not discard the card and to do the 3 damage instead. Of course, pretty menacing board now. Matt does need to take out that Republic Arc 170 before his red 3 is taken out. However, now we have Plo Koon on the board that's going to be pushing in heavy damage.
Yeah, it puts a clock on the game that was there in theory before, but it's much more real now.
For sure. Of course, I mean, I'm not going to sugarcoat this. I did build this deck to beat Sabine. And in the course of building it to beat Sabine, I took a lot of the late game out. Like, a lot.
Yeah, like the deck seems much lower to the ground than the lists I remember for this.
Yeah, obviously, when you know who you're facing in the finals, why not? So I took out a ton of the late game. I kept in basically U-Wing. I took out the Choose Sides. Of course, Choose Sides is actually really good against Green Sabine. Choose Sides actually has won me games against Maddie's Green Sabine. I think, yeah, I played Maddie's Green Sabine with Padme, yeah. But Choose Sides is great against Green Sabine, but Yellow not so much. But we are going to actually see the U-Wing here. Really just sealing this game here. With the U-Wing, I would say. Seeing some pretty good options here. Got lots of 3s. Lots of 3s. Looks like I'm going to go for a capture ship and 501st Liberator, capturing the red 3 and then getting another 3 heal. Oh yeah, I forgot about the first 501st Liberator heal that I did when I said 13, so it actually should have been 16.
So that would make it 21 now or more.
Yeah, over 20. We're definitely in the 20s for sure. Probably like 21 or 22.
This gives me flashbacks to Control versus Sabine matchups where the Sabine winds up doing something like 50 damage to the base over the course of the game.
Lots of healing coming out. Matt just really wishes he had that Wolf main deck. He talked about it. He said, I thought about throwing Wolf in the main deck against you. To be fair, it probably would have been a good pick because my choices for this championship match was I was either going to go Padme or I was going to go Luke. And Wolf would have helped him in both scenarios.
Yeah, we were... part of the preparations for this on our end was knowing that Matt would be playing Sabine and knowing that you'd be countering him. Like, what could we do about that? But I don't think that we, expected so much restore and like healing, which I don't know why we didn't think that. We were expecting more of a like exhaust and sentinel based strategy.
Oh, okay. So what did you? So let me ask you, what did you like? Did he make changes to his like sideboard for this championship match?
So I'm not 100% sure, but he did say he had stuff like Rebel Pathfinders and Breaking Ins in the main deck because he was expecting a lot of Sentinels. And so I think that we were expecting Luke or maybe Mando Yellow, but like I said, we were not expecting Padme.
Yeah, originally I was gonna play Luke. I'll be honest. Like, so I think Matt was probably spot on with his call. He was probably thinking I was gonna play Luke. Originally, I was gonna play you, Luke. So yeah, just kind of going through the motions. I mean, I had such a dominating board. Matt just kind of giving me the game there at the end, with the Plo Koon damage coming in strong, getting him all the way up to 27 there. So that's our championship one match, and we are gonna have another round of best of ones and new boons assigned to both champions. So we'll have to see what powers come out in round two. All right, here we go. Going into round two of the light side, dark side champion. We saw in game one that I was able to heal about 24 damage about off of my base with indefensive Camino and all the healing. Wonder what we're going to see in this game two match. And of course, again, true to the Star Wars universe, the light side is just sweeping the dark side team. None of the dark side. This, they say that there's only 2 Sith. I think we need more Sith or something. Or maybe this might be justifying why there's only 2 Sith, because my dark side team just was not giving me any boons in these championship matches.
Yeah, so part of the strategy, as Didier and Matt were playing their first game, the rest of us were playing against each other again, and there was some strategy in like placing people up against each other that I think worked out in the light side's favor in the first 2 rounds. We'll have to see if that continues, but we had a new set of boons to pick. Well, not a new set, but more boons to pick from for Matt. So we'll have to see which ones he uses this game.
So yeah, we do see Matt has a wolf in his hand. There it is. We saw it come in. So he has a wolf, a Leia, and a cartel turncoat. He could do a Leia turn 1 cartel play. That would be huge for him here. We are actually going to see that. That is a huge opener. A huge opener here by Matt here. Oh, and not a great opener here, of course. The Republic Tactical Officer, not a great opener. Really, really slow. Just the vanilla 1-4. Yeah, not great here. But then myself claiming and then Sabine responding with the double ping. So it looks like I do have a Leia unit drawing into a U-Wing and a Plo Koon. Matt drawing a second Leia. I do have a clear the field in my hand. Do I have a bounty hunter quarry? No, I don't have a bounty hunter quarry. It looks like I have a capture ship and a clear the field. Probably kept this hand because I really like that capture ship against Sabine. But, of course, you need to get coordinate online, and that can be difficult to do in the early game. We're going to see this 2 damage come in here from the cartel turncoat. And the Leia unit for the untap must be looking for that clear the field. Looking to gain some footing on the field here.
It's interesting. I wonder, will clear the field if he's on his Leia also bring your Leia back to hand?
I don't think so. I'd have to read clear the field. My intention here is to do it on his 3-drop play, assuming that I thought maybe seeing me play the Leia, he would have dropped a red 3 to try to get extra damage out of his Leia. But we'll have to see. He does actually end up just pushing in the Leia. And then I think, did he use a boon there to draw?
It seems like it, yeah.
Yeah, because he's going to drop the Falcon, and I'm actually going to clear the field the Falcon. So that's what I was looking for there, to get him tap out on 3, and then have me use clear the field there to try to gain some footing on the board.
Yeah, he did have a draw card boon. That was actually the one that I got him for this round, so I think he chose to use it there is what happened.
Okay. Yep, looks like Matt does have a Falcon and a red 3 in hand. Myself, deciding between resource, I think I actually make a mistake here because I'm deciding between because I have a Wolf Pack, the Capture Ship, and the Republic Arc 170, thinking that I'm going to drop down the Republic and the Wolf Pack this turn. But I know the Wolf Pack just dies to pretty much every one of Matt's ships. But then again, if I'm not playing the Wolf Pack, then I'm just kind of playing off curve this turn. Unless
I don't know that it matters if it dies to his ships. I mean, as long as the ship isn't dealing damage to your base early on, right?
No, because Matt is playing Matt plays a controlling game against me. He doesn't let me have units, really. He doesn't like me to have coordinate.
That's fair. It's kind of like a role reversal.
Yeah, because we're going to see actually a trade here, a trade of Leia's to not let coordinate on the board.
Yeah. I guess one turn before Padme flips, you want to make sure that you're doing as much as you can to keep her ability from locking you out of the game.
Yeah, and we're going to see the Republic Arc drop down here with that Cartel Turncoat being ready. Matt does have a Falcon and a red 3 in hand, so he could play that red 3 and push in some serious damage this turn. Or he could maybe do something else. He could play the Falcon and double trade if he really wanted to play Control-y. We're going to see the flip here. So my hand being Wolfpack and Plo Koon, I really want to ensure that I'm going to have coordinate online for that Plo Koon so I could take out the Sabine next turn. That's why I'm thinking the Wolfpack will help me ensure the coordinate is online with Plo Koon.
I wonder if he's going to play the Falcon or the Red 3. I think they're both interesting options there.
Yeah, of course, I know the outcome of this, and I know he does play that Falcon. And we are going to see in a little bit why that is the superior choice. And it has to do with those spicy, powerful boons that are granted to us by our teammates. We're going to send in 3 damage here with Sabine. Looking like a lot better game for Matt this time. Getting me up to 10 damage already. And me not really having much on the board.
Something I noticed that really good Sabine players do is they're very careful about the order of how they play cards, deal their damage. Like, you can really see Matt's navigating this here to not let you use that one resource you have left in a good way.
Yeah, I keep passing here. I'm hoping that he just attacks, but he doesn't. He's not attacking, and he's just waiting for me to spend that resource. He wants to see what I'm going to spend that resource on. And after he plays the Falcon, I kind of know that he's going to start all these trades, and I don't want to just pass. So I just drop down the Wolfpack. Whether or not this is a mistake, we are going to see that come to fruition here with the next few action choices. So the Cartel takes out the Wolfpack, of course. Matt playing a control game. I'm going to claim initiative, thinking my Republic Arc is safe, but then we are going to see the Experience boon come into play and take out that Republic Arc 170.
Yeah, so again, there was little metal plates basically that we picked that can be played as an action. So he's not cheating. It's just a little quirk of this tournament that is pretty fun, I think.
Oh, yeah. Definitely really fun. I like the team aspect. It's really great. I'm not gonna lie, I heavily enjoyed it. It was great.
Yeah, the 3 week like timetable and the ups and downs. It was a very interesting thing. Looks like he's trying to decide whether to pay for the Falcon, but surely, yeah, there you go.
Yeah, with that experience, you gotta do it, right? Immediately flipping Padme here, trying to get that coordinate online with Plo Koon. Pretty much my only play this turn because I have like R2 Plo Koon. So really, really not many options on my side. I've had almost all my units destroyed, and you could see why. Actually, this is game 2. Going into game 3, I actually sided out Wolfpack against him. I wasn't sure if it was going to be a bad card in this matchup. I thought it was going to be, but I was kind of assured that it is a terrible card in this matchup, in this match.
Yeah, I wonder what he's thinking about. Like, there's a surprise strike there, so if he were to push in with Sabine with the surprise strike and then all of his space, it's another like 11 damage or something. So maybe he's thinking about how if he can close the game out. I could also see him laying Padme here.
Yeah, Leia Padme is probably a great idea, honestly.
My only concern with doing that would be that you might give up your Sabine. Yeah, the surprise strike makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, he's actually going to surprise strike the tactical officer.
That's actually awesome because it does both things. It turns off the coordinate for Plo Koon and Padme, but also keeps your Sabine alive.
It's crazy. I swear, we're going to get... people down in the comments are going to say something about these matches. And let me tell you, it seems real bad to do that for a Republic tactical officer. But when it's the Plo Koon turn, you got to do it.
Yeah, and again, you have to consider that there's a lot of familiarity with these deck lists since our community plays a lot with each other. So we knew the Plo Koon was in the deck if you were playing Padme Yellow, even though we didn't know you were playing Padme Yellow, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so of course, seeing the Plo Koon come out here, no coordinate, but having the 3 damage to take out Sabine, and just Matt pushing in with ultimate damage in space right here, getting me all the way up to 19. I'm not out of it yet, though. We do have a little bit of a light. This draw is a little strange, though. I want a resource, but then I realized that I want to discard a card for R2.
Yeah, Matt did float 2 resources last turn, which sometimes is okay, but always probably feels bad when you're playing Sabine.
Yeah. I mean, he's been burning a lot of cards. That's the thing, like, with Sabine. You burn so many cards with your surprise strikes and your tricks and stuff like that. It's really easy to not have that many cards to play every turn. But we're going to see the Liberator to heal a little and get a little back into this game. Turning on both coordinate for Plo Koon and Padme there.
I feel like he takes the Padme down here if he's playing that Leia, just to keep the healing offline. But yeah, maybe Plo Koon to stop the damage too.
Yep, I remember him talking this out actually, and he mentioned he did mention that he was thinking about between the two, but he does end up choosing Padme here, which is absolutely the best choice because, like you said, you want to keep the healing off the field for sure.
Yeah, if it comes down to a race, I think that it's still in Sabine's favor at this moment, even with Plo Koon being a lot of damage. So if you shut off that healing and card draw, you might be able to outlast,
Yep, getting the R2 discard, searching for something. Actually, an indefensive Camino could actually swing things completely. To be honest with you, indefensive Camino...
Is that what you drew there?
Would be ridiculous. No, that is not what I drew there. I forget what I drew there. But if I could find it, I don't know what I drew there. If I could find
it, looked like an
maybe.
Event.
Plo Koon taking out the Leia. Kind of sad, losing that 6 damage, but need to prevent all damage. And then Red 3 coming down with Cartel and just the ultimate damage from double Cartel and a buffed Millennium Falcon.
It looks like you took either a spare the target or clear the field. I can't tell which that is.
Yeah, I think I had... My choices were like Bounty Hunter Quarry, spare the target, and something else. I can't remember, but I took the spare the target. Did grab the Liberator and the the U-Wing, but unfortunately, because I did not resource last turn, I cannot play the U-Wing this turn. So that's unfortunate there. A little bit of a detriment there.
Yeah, and you've got, looks like, 3 health left. Well, I guess 6 health left now.
See, I'm going to get this heal from the Liberator. Not really going to do much. Matt has so much damage in space right now. Not really going to do anything. The 5 damage coming in with the Falcon, getting me up to 29. Spare the Target comes out, not doing much, but that is game 2. That's how you would expect a Padme Sabine match to end. Now going into game 3. All right, so here we go for game 3 and the conclusion of the Light Side Dark Side Championship. We have, again, Padme Yellow against Sabine Yellow going into this finals match. So far, the Light Side team has swept the Dark Side team. But crazy enough, just when the Dark Side needed it the most, going into game 3, we did manage to squeak out 2 wins. Our first 2 wins, Light Side going 10 and 2 against us. Those 2 wins, though,
they were tough games. Earlier I talked about some of the strategy of picking the boons, and I think this game is where perhaps our failure to think this through becomes evident with the boons that were chosen. One of which is going to be extremely relevant to the early part of this game, I think.
Yeah, so we are actually going to see me draw into a Bright Hope, a Bounty Hunter's Quarry, and a Padme. A pretty darn fire start over there on my side. Padme being the greatest turn 1 play against aggro. Matt looks like he's playing his Cartel Spacer in R2 this turn. Not as strong of an aggressive start as the Leia Cartel Turncoat that he had in game 2.
Still, double 1-drop is always powerful.
For sure. Getting that ping before the next round starts. That Bright Hope, though. It looks like... Do I have a Spare the Target? Is that a Spare the Target? I can't really see what that was. Oh, no, it's a Waylay.
I saw Bright Hope and Tactical Officer. I can't tell what the others are.
I have a Waylay and a Spare the Target in my hand. I'm actually going to resource the Waylay because I drew into Spare the Target there, which is better when you have a Cartel Turncoat. We were going to actually see me activate the power that I actually finally got to create a Clone Trooper token for myself and then give Matt a card draw. Getting me close. Of course, with that Tactical Officer, I could get Padme online this turn and draw with Padme as well, which may be what I do.
Yeah, I think that letting your team get that boon was a strategic mistake on our part, we'll say.
So Matt actually sending the Fleet Lieutenant in here to take out the clone, knowing the power of my coordinate here. Burning the Fleet Lieutenant to take out the clone. Gonna see the Tactical Officer with Padme into the Fleet Lieutenant to take away the 3 damage in ground. And Matt sending the Cartel Turncoat in. And then myself sending the Bounty Hunter Quarry on the Cartel Turncoat.
Yeah, and it's a good thing he knocked the coordinate offline, because that could have been Padme killing the Fleet Lieutenant for free.
That's very true. Yep. Yeah, again, like, it seems like weird plays over here, but Matt has played this matchup, and he knows that he needs to take coordinate away from the Padme deck. Because you're absolutely right. That could have been just a free kill there. And then Padme has full HP. And she just runs the field then. But we are going to actually see the R2 takeout here on Padme. Clean kill there. But we are going to... Flopping down the Spare the Target.
Throwing that card like you're an Iden Blue player, man.
Flopping down the Spare the Target. Getting the double bounty claim. The double bounty claim with the Spare the Target here.
That is a lot. Man, I was skeptical of Spare the Target when I saw it in the deck, and now I'm like, man, this card's amazing.
With the Bounty Hunter Quarry, though, it's
Oh,
so
it's so
good.
good. Yeah, and like with the especially with the build you've come to this with the low cost curve, it basically is guaranteed to play a card, and it when you get the Bounty Hunter's Quarry, and it to be a good card at that, you know.
Yep. So we're going to see, playing a little off curve here, of course, just saving that damage, knowing I can clear the R2 unit with the tactical officer here. This is the Sabine flip turn, but we are at a full clear board. Likely going to see a K2 drop this turn, but seeing the Sabine ping, and then obviously taking out the R2 unit there.
Yeah, all that said, like everything that just happened, he's still about to flip Sabine and he has 4 resources up. So this is still a very close game, even with the Spare the Target being a pretty huge win for the Padme.
Yeah, the drawing the card really helps a lot because it replenishes that cost. And when I was playing this Padme Yellow deck, I was playing it for a while. Then when I added the Bounty Hunter's Quarry in, I felt like the deck went from a cool deck to a real potential tournament winning deck, because not only do you have the Spare the Targets, but you also have the Republic capture ship that can also claim that bounty. So it's like 6 cards in your deck that is available for you to claim Bounty Hunter's Quarry. So I actually kind of baited him here. I baited that a little bit because I was like, "Hey, you gonna take out my tactical officer with that surprise strike?"
Oh man,
I baited him a little bit with that.
I don't think I would have done that. I think I would have let the Sabine unit clear it up.
Hey, hindsight is 2020. You never know. Going in here, immediately flipping Padme because this is the Plo Koon turn as well. I could have opened Plo Koon here, like if I had that tactical officer.
Again, that's a really good point. Like last game, we saw him potentially win because he played around coordinate and Plo Koon, and so maybe he's thinking the same could happen here.
Yeah.
He's got another surprise strike, so man, if he had played that K2 though, it would have been interesting to see what happened.
Yeah, I thought the K2 was the better play. What did he do with the other 2 resources? He did the surprise strike and then what?
Sabine unit.
Sabine unit. Okay.
It's a pretty strong unit, to be fair.
Yeah.
This is interesting.
Yep, going into Padme here, wanting to take out the Padme leader, doing 5 damage to Padme and 1 damage to the base. Of course, Plo Koon coming in here, taking out Sabine unit.
Yeah, it almost seemed like he was kind of gambling on you not having Plo Koon, which, I mean, sometimes you have to take a risk, but I feel like you don't. Oh, I mean, he might not have had a better play.
Yeah. Getting the 4 cause here for the full damage. Probably gonna ship the Falcon back. Maybe the Falcon and the Cassian. No, just the Falcon.
That makes sense.
So, of course, Padme does answer Sabine leader clean. I think I am going to do that here. Just take Sabine off the field, trade my Padme leader for it, trade leader for leader, and then grab that Sanctioner Shuttle. The reason that Padme Yellow is such a strong deck, that Sanctioner Shuttle, for the 3-cost capture. Getting in my damage and slowly taking over this board.
Yeah, and Sabine Yellow can live or die in the space arena, and the Republic arc is just annoying enough to be able to not lock down the arena completely, but it makes it hard to compete there.
Yeah, for sure. Of course, Falcon is a great card that does not only compete, as we saw in Game 2, that experience boon was pretty much the sole reason why he won that game. Putting it on that Falcon was massive.
Yeah, and unfortunately, at this point in the game, most of the boons that were left are not necessarily bad, but not as good for Sabine. Whereas we saw the boon that you were able to activate earlier was extremely good for the Padme deck.
Yep, yep.
The slow play ping is a classic Matt play, I feel.
Yep, gonna see the Bright Hope here to just lock down the Space Arena. No Falcons for you, I say. No Falcons for you.
Yeah, his hand, I think, had a Falcon and a Red 3, so he was probably thinking of getting those in to clear up the Republic arc, but Bright Hope just kind of ruins that.
Yep, gonna see Matt actually activated one of his boons there to discard a card from both of our hands. So he discarded the A-Wing, I discarded my Spare the Target.
Here comes that Red 3.
Yeah, lone Red 3 stands in the Space Arena by himself against a Bright Hope and a Republic Arc 170. We are going to see the Padme activation here to get the 501st Liberator into hand. Get some nice healing going.
Bright Hope is like a wall against Matt's hopes of turning this game around. I feel like it's so hard to overcome.
Yeah, the yellow deck can usually get around it. The yellow has a lot of stuff to get around Bright Hope, or just burst it down in a single action. But Matt is not in a great board state right now, so it's tough for him to get around the Bright Hope.
Yeah, and he's already burnt 2 surprise strikes, so he probably is thinking that he just needs to try to get through it the hard way.
Yeah.
Looks like he drew a 4 cause, and I think that's a Spec Force soldier, but I can't tell for sure.
Of course, the Padme deck taking control of this game, going into the mid to late game now, dropping down that Sanctioner shuttle to take out the Red 3, just ensuring that no shenanigans will be happening. And if he wants to take out that Bright Hope, he's going to have to trade his Millennium Falcon for it.
Yeah, he just trades into the Bright Hope. That's always rough.
Yeah.
Almost makes you wonder if bouncing the Falcon and replaying it could have been an option.
Maybe. Really slow, because we are pushing in with Plo Koon 6 damage here. It looks like Matt is up to 21. So we are getting up in damage. So I'm not sure if the bouncing Falcon would have enough time to make use of that.
Yeah, it looks like he was seeing if he had a Cassie, and that could be one way to make something happen here. But the 4 cause, I mean, it's damage, but does damage solve the Plo Koon problem?
Yeah. Plus, we do have the Liberator in hand, which is a nice counter to the 4 cause.
There's that Leia just open on top of the deck.
He's nice. He lets the world see what he puts on top with 4 cause.
It's a little Jedi mind trick.
Yep, we're going to see the Liberator here for that 3 heal. Just Padme, the grind is on right now. The grind. Grabbing another Sanctioner shuttle there. Ensuring the Space Arena is mine. Plo Koon came down and really pushed this issue. 6 damage each round is going to end the game right here. The Leia is going to answer the Plo Koon. But unfortunately, it's only 3-3 power attacks away, and Matt knows that, so we are going to see the handshake, and that is it. That is the end of the Light Side Dark Side Championship.
Well played, Didier, and congrats. That was a set of interesting games, and I think we're all going to be itching to see some attempts at a comeback next time we run this thing.
Absolutely, and now that we are experienced with boons, we will definitely all be using the boons to the best of our ability. They definitely add an interesting element to this light side dark side championship, adding a team element to the game that, you know, I really need to rely on my team. Matt needed to rely on his team. We needed to really come together for our not only our respective store, but the side of the force that we chose in this tournament. So if you like this video, please hit that like button. Please hit subscribe for all the best gaming guides and match video commentary. And as always, turn your dial to Random Number Gaming.